We're back on Politics Nation with explosive new details emerging in the Secret Service sex scandal. The woman who claims to be at the heart of the scandal is sharing her story with the New York Times on what she says happened a week ago tonight in Colombia. NBC News has not independently confirmed this, but the woman says she and another woman were approached by a group of American men at a club. Quote, "They never told me they were with Obama. They were very discreet." And the entire scandal allegedly erupted over a disagreement over her price. She would charge him $800. But, quote, the man told her he had been drunk when they discussed the price. He countered with an offer of 50,000 pesos, the equivalent of about $30. The scandal has left her scared and worried. Quote, "This is something really big. This is the government of the United States. I have nervous attacks. I cry all the time." Meanwhile, the investigation is widening. Agents are currently canvassing the area around the hotel and are reportedly investigating past trips. And 3 agents are no longer with the Secret Service, and that number is expected to climb. Joining me now is Congressman Elijah Cummings, the senior Democrat on the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, and Jack Rice, a former CIA officer. Thank you both for being here tonight.
It's good to be with you.
Congressman, as the ranking member on Oversight Committee, will the woman's account be used in this investigation?
Oh, I'm sure it will. Director Sullivan has told us that they will leave no stone unturned. So I think that they'll be looking into every single detail, talking to every single person that may have had any kind of involvement with these incidents.
Now, will there be more people let go?
According to the director and the word that we've gotten from his office today, he does expect more people to be leaving one way or the other within the next several days.
Now, let me ask you, Jack, you are formerly with the CIA. How bad is a blackmail possibility here? How bad of a problem is exposing to possible blackmail in this situation?
That's always the concern. Again, what this is about access to the President of the United States. And when you talk about teams like this, these are jump teams. These are guys who go out in front of the President everywhere in the world, and they don't always just end up in Colombia. They can end up any place. If you expose them in this way, and then you can manipulate them, you have the potential at getting to very serious people. In this case, potentially the President. There's almost nothing worse than that. That's not left or right. That's just reality.
Now, Congressman Cummings, Congressman Peter King said he expects more resignations imminent. And then Senator Jeff Sessions tried to make the scandal a political issue today. Listen to this.
GSA, Secret Service, Solyndra, problem after problem. I believe that the President of the United States is the chief executive officer for the entire governmental bureaucracy. I don't sense that this president is showing that kind of managerial leadership that at this point in history, in my view, is one of the most important qualities in a president.
Now, White House spokesman Jay Carney responded. Let me show you that.
Can I ask you to respond to Senator Sessions?
That sounds very much like a lawmaker attempting to politicize something that is not at all political.
Congressman Cummings, is that fair to blame this on the president's management skills?
Oh, I think it's very unfair, and I think that Sessions was wrong. We have a situation here where, and again, we don't even have all the facts yet, and it's still being investigated. But we have a situation where we have some officers who, in my opinion, use very poor judgment. And one of the things that I've said is I really think this instance, we need to take politics out of this and make sure this organization, which I consider one of the most elite and outstanding organizations, security organizations in the world, is all that it says it is. And I think that it is, and I'm hoping that this is just an aberration. But the fact is that Part of it, I was telling Director Sullivan that I think one of the reasons why the Secret Service is so effective is because they have a reputation as being the very, very best, and that it would be almost impossible to pierce their armor. And I think that whenever anybody thinks that there may be a possibility, just the appearance is something that I don't even want. And when I talk to members of the Secret Service, both present and ones that have been there in the past, they tell me that they are very upset about this, and they don't want any bad apples in their midst.
Well, Jack, you have been in that world. Now that we are getting more and more facts, give a sense to people around the country of how serious this is.
Well, it's incredibly serious.
To be true.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, I'm thinking about this not just as a former CIA officer. I'm a former prosecutor. I'm a criminal defense attorney. And so I see this from different perspectives. But I think the political aspect is a critical one here, too. You can't look at the Secret Service as a Republican or a Democrat organization. I mean, Sullivan's been at the at Secret Service since '83. He's been the director since 2006, and he was put in by President Bush. And the thing is, that doesn't make him a Republican. This is a systemic question. You have to look at not just the 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 or 10 guys. If there is a chain of events and if there's a leadership problem within the Secret Service, that in itself is not a left or right question either. To look at this is to look more broadly now and say, don't just look at Colombia. If this was done in Colombia, was this also done where else these jump teams have been? That has to be looked at because it's absolutely critical too.
And you're dealing with a lot of agents, and you're dealing with some people that held key positions. Look at the 3 former officers who have been dismissed or resigned. One is a supervisory employee allowed to resign. One supervisory employee fired. One non-supervisory employee resigned. You talked with the head of the Secret Service, Mr. Sullivan, Congressman Cummings. Do you get a sense from him of embarrassment or outrage, or, well, I mean, what is he communicating to you that you could share with us?
He is outraged, and I believe that just based on my conversation with him, which lasted for over an hour, I believe that he would have fired every one of these people immediately if he could have. But certainly there's certain things that he has to do. But I get the impression that he is embarrassed and very upset about all of this for his agency. And I believe that they will be harder on themselves than the Congress could ever be. And we're pretty rough, as you well know.
Yeah,
so
Congressman
I have
Elijah
confidence that they
Cummings, I'm
will
going to
fully
have to leave
investigate
it there. Jack Rice, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Still ahead.